everybody, this is me, Emma, back in my creative space and getting comfy on my sofa to have a little bit of a chat with you and welcome you to my creative space once again, and a very big warm welcome to you if you've just found me and it's your first visit here. My name is Emma and I live in the Lake District, or Cumbria as it's known, whichever way you want to call it, here in the UK, in the northwest of the UK. I live in a very beautiful place and I'm very lucky to live here. And I like to film what I'm doing here in my creative space to share with you and perhaps inspire you to do some fun things as well with fabric. That's what I'm all about. It's about the fun. So welcome back, brand new spanking year to get creative in and have some fun. I think there's going to be lots of interesting things happening this year. I've certainly got quite a few changes and things coming up for me, but really nice changes, really quite exciting changes. So I will still be here, I'm still going to be doing my YouTube channel, but I've just got other things that are going on in my personal life, in my house, you know, builders and plastering and fun decorating and things down here that I'm going to be doing as well. One of the big changes is that I'm going to be moving out of this space because I don't need all this space. I'm going to have a smaller room, and so that's going to be fun to try and I don't quite know how I'm going to do that. I've got to fit this quart into a pint pot, as my mum used to say, but it'll happen. And I've been doing a lot of clearing out over Christmas. I've been sort of sorting through my stuff again. You can see I was doing a big clean up, and it's quite fun to do because actually it's making me really focus on what it is I want to do going forward in time. I'm streamlining things all the time. I'm simplifying things all the time, so I just have this clear kind of focus. You know, in the past I used to make all sorts of things in all sorts of different ways with lots of different techniques, and you can probably see some of this around my studio. You know, I've done things with soluble fabric, I've done things on metal, I've stuck things on wood, I've done 3D, I've done 2D, all kinds of things, and I've loved doing all of those things. But I just think going forward, what I really want to be doing is just kind of focusing, keeping it simple, keeping it clear, and just loving what I'm doing, enjoying the process. And I hope you're going to join me in this and be here with me. I hope that you had a peaceful time over the last few weeks. We did very little over Christmas, I have to say. It's become our intended way of doing things, to be honest, and it's lovely. It makes life very easy. There's nothing to raise our game for. My husband actually went in the vegetable patch. It was such a lovely day here, and he went in the vegetable patch and got all the beds ready for the spring planting, which is unheard of, really. And I think I went for a walk, and I don't know what I did. I can't actually remember. It seems like 100 years ago, doesn't it? So today I think we're going to just get on with this piece that I started working on last autumn, and if you've been following that journey, I'm excited because I think we're going to get it done. We're going to get it finished. It's going to be completed. If you've just started watching with this video, well, if you want to go back over the last few, you'll see how I commenced with this piece. It's basically cutting up pieces of fabric, using my embellishing machine, and then stitching. But it's all about the play. My work is all about play and experimenting and seeing what comes, and using my intuition to guide me, but also my personal choices and, you know, what my eye sees. So let's go over to my table and we'll have a little look and see where we've got to and what we're going to start with today. Ooh, it's so exciting, I can't tell you. Let's go. Okay, so I've got my lovely navy lining fabric here, and I'm just going to cut a little sort of shape from it. I don't know how it's going to work, but we're just going to cut a shape from it, and then we'll see whether we like it or not. It may be just a starting point, I think. We're just going to have this as a starting point. Because if you start, then the magic can appear. I read that somewhere once and I thought it's such a good saying. Ooh, look, what if? And what if it just might go a about here, possibly that way up, or it might go that way up. Might sort of go into that bit there. Let's trim that down a little bit. This is trial and error. I'm just fiddling around until I get something that's going to please my eye, and I may have to cut it. I may want some of the bits coming up here, possibly, I think. Just cut a couple of little bits. This is just playing and seeing what might unfold. And this is like a base fabric. I think my idea would be to put probably other fabrics on top of here. I'm trying to get sort of a feeling of branches coming off. I'm not sure whether you'd want one coming down here maybe. This is fun. This is fun. I'm just messing about. Obviously, you could draw this out on a piece of paper. Totally you could. You could take a photograph of this and you could do it on your computer, couldn't you? You could use a drawing package to sort of sketch something in. But I'm just playing with the fabric because that's what I've got. And I'm on my computer so much else for doing other things that actually I quite like not being on my computer when I'm doing making. Because I do quite a lot of being on my computer when I'm editing and what have you. And daily life, it's amazing. How did we ever live a life without a computer, eh? Anybody remember that? Whether you'd want something coming in from behind. Fiddle, fiddle, I say. What a very peaceful little job this is on a day when it's not really a very lovely day out there today, but it's just peaceful in here. I hope it's peaceful where you are too, whatever you're doing. So the other thing I've got here is this rather nice kind of lacy fabric, and it's got a lovely texture to it. I don't know if you can pick that up. It's got this really lovely texture to it. So I'm just going to see if I've got a few bits here that I've cut, and I'm just going to pop these on here. I'm just trying to feel into what exactly it is I want here and what sort of texture. I quite like that. I like it on the navy, but I also like the fact that it's got the dark purpley colour on top, and I might put some other colours of this on there as well, just possibly. This is all just what's pleasing my eye. There we go. I might, as I say, add some other bits and pieces on there to make it a bit more lichen-y. And then it's a question of whether these are... It's a question of what is happening here. What's the story here, everybody? That's what I need to ask myself. What's this story here? What's this here? You know, I've got a lot of light going on behind it. Is it going to be something dark here? Leaves sort of in dark leaves? Or is it going to be some of these sort of colours? These are the questions I'm asking myself, and I don't yet know the answers. So as you can see, I'm having some fun. I'm just playing around with shapes and lines, and I'm trying out some leaves on here, and I'm liking putting kind of a mixture of coloured leaves here, as though some of them have got the light behind them and some of them are in the shade. You know, some of them are in the shade, some of them are in the light. I've also got some of this another piece of lacy fabric that's got lovely kind of purpley veining on it, which I thought I could possibly add onto there. I'm not sure about that. It perhaps needs something different there. Okay. And I'm just also wondering about up here, whether I actually take this off here. What if I take that off there and try and make it sort of come either... I think it's too fussy if I make the branches come all the way over. But I just wonder whether something a bit more kind of coming down over would be better, because then that makes sense of it having leaves on it, if you know what I mean. So So let's just cut a piece of this a bit thinner. I like to see things. I'll know it when I see it, if you know what I mean. I always think this. I'm not very good at maybe making it up in my head. I like to see it, and then I can see what needs doing to it, if you like. It's the same in a room. Interior design, I'd be no good at interior design. I couldn't plan it, or I'd have to see it and then work, ooh, pulling that down, work sort of organically with it. Let's just snip that a little bit in order to see. I'm sure some of you can do it all in your head, or you know, you draw diagrams and stuff, but I do just like playing with it because then ideas come, and it means it can evolve as well. You can start with a plan, you know, obviously, because that can be helpful, but actually just doing this is just helping things evolve. These are not great pieces, to be honest, but they'll do. They'll do. You can have another one there. You see, I'm just trying to get this feeling of leaves coming down over. So I've got these, and I'm just playing around with the colours and thinking, well, against this orange, we could be having, you know, and there could be leaves that come over other bits. You see, like that, because I've made that come down over. I mean, I've got to work out how we do this bit. But so I think this is work in progress, and I'm going to play around with it a bit more, and I'll show you kind of when I've decided how it's going to look, more or less. Okay, so I think you can see what I've done here is I've made lots of little branchy bits, and initially I was going to like have all the leaves attached, and then I thought, well, actually what I really like is a sense of leaves that are just falling down. So I've kind of created this flow. I've got to do this area up here, but I think this is now ready for stitching, and I have to say it's taken me a little while. I had to kind of really feel into it and just stop thinking about it and just let the process and let the pieces, and each piece I put down kind of led to another piece. I've had several rearrangements of this, I have to say, and if I was just drawing this with a pencil, or if you were drawing it with a pencil, you know, or a pen, that would have just been such a doddle to do because you'd have just drawn the lines. But because I've made it up out of little pieces of fabric, it's taken me a little while, but it was more the sense of flow that came to me to do that was the turning point. So I'm going to go now and be really brave and stitch this lot down. I've just pinned these leaves on. They're going to get stitched down after, but I need to know where they are because I don't want to lose where they are. I think I've got them nicely arranged, so that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I've chosen a really dark blue thread to match in, and I'm just going to free machine really, really carefully along all these little bits just to hold them in place so I know they're not going to all fall off and it'll be a disaster. I need them all held in place. I don't quite yet know what else I'm going to add on to because I think I'd like to put some extra fabric on top of here. Again, if I was just free machining these shapes, that would be a doddle, but I just don't think that I'd have to really, really stitch very hard to make a covering to show up. This because I've got a complex background, so I really feel this is just giving us that proper covering, and then we can stitch on top of it, and hopefully it's going to work. Fingers crossed. I'm just going to do this really slowly and carefully because I've got to try and slot little bits like this underneath the bits that I've got on top, if you like. It's like piecing a jigsaw together, but a very complicated one. But you see, I've always loved a challenge. I think all my fabric work, all my textile art pieces, I've always loved this challenge. If it was just very straightforward, blah blah, that's no fun. This is much more fun. So I'm just going to do this. Probably I'll turn the camera off in a minute because I'm going to have to really concentrate. Well, so here we are. I have fiddled a bit and faddled a bit, and I've added some textures onto this branch here because I felt that's what it wanted, and it was sort of these lovely mixing the purples and the turquoises, which is quite pretty, isn't it? I've also added some of the purpley lacy stuff onto these bits of branches, and I'm going to do some more stitching. But what? Oh, there's actually a huge gap there. I think that's a design. That's a design thing. So you can see we've ended up with these lovely fine sort of very stark, wintry sort of part of the tree, and obviously the leaves have mostly come off now. And originally I thought, oh, I'm going to do lots of leaves. I'm going to repeat this bit sort of up here somehow, but you can see how that brings in an attention to this area, and the idea is the leaves are just going to be sort of drifting down in the breeze. I put a little bit of net, you can see this is just to protect these little end bits here, because I just thought if I'm working, the problem is when you do something really loose and soft like this is you can end up roughening things that you don't want to roughen too much, so I've kind of covered those up to protect them so they stay as they are. So I'm kind of pleased with the way it's going. I hope you've enjoyed doing this with me. I'm actually going to stop filming this piece now, and I will show you it when it's all finished and done, and I'll just sort of work on it behind the scenes. But I feel as though we need a fresh start. It's January, let's get something new on the deck, and we'll see what that's going to be next week. I'll perhaps go into my fabric stash and bring out a box or two and see what's going to be the next piece. Got an exhibition coming up in the summer, and this is the second piece of that exhibition, and it's very exciting because we're going to be in a big place this year with my group. We're going to be in a big proper posh kind of exhibition space, so we've got to mind our P's and Q's, so we're putting a lot of effort into getting all of that ready, and this is my second piece for it. So there we go. I hope you've really enjoyed, if you've been following me along with this, I hope you've enjoyed the journey so far. It will get finished. I'm really pleased with it, and I hope you've enjoyed doing that with me. And as I say, we'll start again next week with something new and fresh. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for showing up again. It's just brilliant to be back with you. I love being in my creative space, showing you what I'm doing, and I hope you enjoy it too, and it maybe inspires you to get something going yourself, especially as it's the new year. Time for a fresh start, especially, you know, it's kind of still winter, isn't it? It's nice to be indoors doing something creative. So, and I've got to work out also how these leaves are going to be. Got to work out, I don't like them all flat like this, but we will see what comes out in the wash when I get to grips with it. So thanks again for being here. I'll see you again next week, and we'll see what's going to happen. Bye for now.